it's just those nerves. I don't want to say nerves, but like you just get a certain way before you DJ, like before you get up there, because like how I see it is when you start DJing, when you first get on there, it's like you're taking in everyone's energy. Like you're literally like just taking it all in. So like that few minutes or so, that's when you just need that. Why you need that, like just something to be like, let me numb me out so I don't feel it that intensely or something like
Oh,
that.
totally.
Yeah.
Also, like a lot of like, I mean, just from my experience playing shows, like it's not only just the DJing, but a lot of it is like a performance aspect. And if you're not like loose up there and able to like really get down to what you're doing, like then the crowd's not either.
Nah, I like the fact that you said it's performance because at the end of the day, we are performing, right?
Totally.
We're not just DJing.
Totally.
And, I feel like that's a vice that it just seems like an inevitable vice that's just in our industry, in DJ industry.
Mm-hmm.
And also because you're a DJ, a lot of those perks are free.
Free drinks.
So a lot of time it's very hard to deny free drinks in my experience. There's been a lot of nights where I've taken a lot of drinks because it was free. But in reality, when I got home, I'm like, you know what? I definitely shouldn't have just like taking all these free drinks. I could have just been fine with the water like the whole night. And now I'm just kind of like paying for the consequences, whether if it's like a headache or I'm throwing up now. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, like that's something I learned with experience DJing is although like as a DJ, when you have the opportunity to get free drinks, I think it's good to discipline yourself, especially if you're DJing in a setting. You don't want to put yourself in grounds where you're gonna mess up and you clear out the floor or it looks bad on the person that booked you.
When did you learn? When did that realization snap in your head? Did that happen right away, or did it take you some experience to realize, like, oh fuck, I might have had maybe one or two more drinks, or maybe smoked a little, or done something a little too much, or did you already like off back figure that out?
I pretty much had that all figured out for the most part. That I think when I am like drinking a lot more than I need to, I think performance is in jeopardy. However, I am that guy that could use a drink or two, and I'm feeling and like that puts me at ease, and I'm able to perform at my optimal. There have been times though where I've drank or drunk. How you say that? I drank a lot, like more than I needed to. And it didn't really reflect on the
Performance.
Well, it didn't really reflect on like the crowd. Like the crowd didn't really notice certain things that I personally messed up in. It was more like a DJ pet peeve. Like, oh damn, like I could have made this transition cleaner, but I had 6 Modelos today versus my comfortable drinking quantity. Because I think we all have a particular drinking quantity that's comfortable to where we're at ease, and then there's a particular threshold we pass, and it's like, okay, now our performance is in jeopardy. Like it could get really good, or it could get real bad, like at any minute. And I've seen that, like, and you've probably seen it too, Robert, with some cats that they drink too much during their gig, and they're just messing up, getting on the mic, apologizing every 3 minutes as to why their performance is not convincing, and that wasn't personal either. Shit. Ukami Dubs was good. We got Ukami in the building. We're streaming live on Twitch too.
Oh,
so
cool. Hell yeah.
So,
good.
well, we do it live on Twitch, and then we also upload it on YouTube. So, but no, yeah, bro. Like even like I DJ last night, bro. Like at a 21st, and like so many drinks were given to me, bro. Like voluntarily. I didn't even ask.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, here's a drink. Try this. Like already assuming I'm gonna drink it type shit. So like there's already like that kind of stereotype, I feel. That's I don't really care. Like if you feel like I'm a DJ, like I'm a drink, and you're right, I'm a drink. Fuck it. I fit the stereotype. I'll take the drink. But I've been like I don't think I had like a crazy unique situation where it was bad and I was like, oh shit, like maybe I need to like tone it down. I've always known, and like I just knew that I could get away with that shit. I think most importantly, I was able to get away with that and like still give the performance that was satisfying for the crowd.
Totally.
What about you? Did you ever was it a hard realization for you? Or
oh yeah. I mean, I started DJing when I was in college, and I played a few gigs where like things got a little crazy, and I would wake up the next day and be like, damn, like I was pretty drunk, and I've played some sloppy DJ sets when I first started out, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like everybody kind of has a gig once in a while where, you know, things get a little overboard and then you kind of have to tone it back afterwards.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I think it's just like that whole, okay, I need to feel loose, but then sometimes you get a little too loose. And when you go up there, you're just like, oh, now I got to pay attention and focus. Like,
Game time.
yeah, I don't know if I could pay attention and focus like this, but we're going to make it work. Like that, I think a lot of DJs don't have that realization until it happens to them, you know? Because I mean, I always think that I'm fine.
Mhm.
Like, you know, even when you're drinking and you're not DJing, like you're still thinking, no, I'm good. I could drive. I think that's the same like correlation for DJs. Like, no, I'm good. I could DJ. No, I can still DJ. But in reality, you probably can't.
Or you think that you're like doing crazy shit, but then you look at the videos the next day and you're like, that's how there's been a few gigs I've played where like I know I'll be like, I've gone overboard when I'm like wheeling every single track. You know?
And like you were doing it because you could get away with that shit.
And I'm like, there's people on the stage, there's people down there, and I'm like trying to show off like wheeling every song, you know, switching faders and shit.
Yeah. Nah, I just not like. I think you're fine as long as you're able to still transition between songs. You know, as long as you're still able to play the next song, you're straight. I think it gets to the point where you got to cut yourself off. If you ever let a song stop, I think if you ever let music stop, you should just be cut off. Like that's the only like I think rule of like a DJ. Just don't let the music stop. That's it.
Well, that's the issue. That's the issue that arises with wheeling. Not many people like when DJs wheeling because when they wheel it, the music stops. So there's like, I've noticed there's like this sort of talk happening on social media where DJs are saying, "I fuck with the wheeling, keep doing it," and then there's the other DJs like, "Nah, bro, like just blend in the song. Like we get it. Like we get the drop. Like we're not like we understood the drop and the hype like from the get go. You don't gotta wheel it. Like there's that side of that argument, and I mean personally, I don't know how I feel about the whole wheeling thing. Like, personally, I just think that, hey, look, bro, like, you're wheeling back to play the same song when you can give us another song that I want to hear, bro. Like, I get it the first time. Personally, like, you play a song, I get it. Like, I'm going to get the hype. I'm going to get the enthusiasm that you're bringing to this track, like, on the performance. Personally, for me, I don't need the wheeling. I don't mind it, though, but I don't care.
I've been seeing it more in like the dubstep community lately.
Yeah, totally.
Where the drop hits and they'll play like the first four beats or whatever and then wheel it back. There's times where I'll like it, where I'll be like, I understand, like the energy was just going crazy. We needed to wheel it back a little and relaunch this energy. And then there's some times where I'm just like, dog, this was peak energy. Like you didn't need to back wheel it. Like this is peak energy right here. Just play it through. But okay, this is something that I've been kind of thinking about. Like I don't mind it when the DJ that's DJing does it. How do you feel when it's just like one of their homies or something coming up and backspinning it for them? How do you feel about that? Because I don't know how I would feel about it.
The only way I could justify that is if they drop some track and like it's a banger and the energy wasn't justified. Because there's been times where it don't even matter if it was the homie and the actual DJ. I would accept a wheeling if the crowd didn't give out the energy output that matched the drop or the banger. Okay. No, yeah, if the DJ is wheeling it because he didn't receive the energy that was deserved from the track, no, for sure, run it back, bro. Disrespect. Like, how you gonna give me this energy for this track?
Right?
No,
we just played levels and y'all standing. Like,
exactly. Y'all were just on your. I mean, fuck, I ain't gonna get in that conversation. You can record like at festivals if you like. You spent your ticket on whatever, but. Anyways, I just think that if you're gonna wheel it back, I think it's because you didn't get the right amount of energy, and we need to get the energy. Okay, that's acceptable for me. But like for me, like I don't mind it, but I get it. I get it the first time you play it.
But like this, say you're DJing, right? How would you feel if you just dropped something and the drop just dropped and there's some energy, but then I come up there and I backspin it? How you feeling?
How do you feel, bro?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think it's purely like based on the vibe of like the show in general. Like if everybody's going crazy and you're having a good time and all your homies are, like, you know, spontaneous shit happens when things are going hard, you know what I mean? Like shit that isn't planned, and sometimes, you know, it's the right thing to do. I also think like a lot of that, the wheeling stuff is like a cultural thing too. Like I know like a lot in like the UK and especially like in rhythm stuff, like that's part of the thing is like, you know, if it's nice, we play it twice type shit. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas like here, you know, I don't know. It's definitely like there's different like things that go on in different genres, like different stigmas and cultural stuff, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about if I heard backspins in a trance set.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god! No, you know what?
Like,
Now
no,
you're making a
no,
point.
I don't like this energy. We're gonna start it from the beginning, and it's gonna start off hella slow, and we're gonna work like I don't know if I could justify like how to justify that.
I need you guys to like build up all those emotions again.
I need you guys to cry harder. Let's go.
No, totally. And plus trance, like it's literally called trance. You want to be in a trance during that shit, and all the build-ups in that music are like 2-3 minutes long.
Yeah.
If we're gonna wheel it and sit through another 2 minutes of build-up, you'd be like, oh shit.
Right?
Is that a thing just in bass music though, or is like because you
I
do a
mean,
lot more house music?
yeah, I
like,
see
is that
it.
a thing in house music?
I see it a lot in UK garage stuff.
Okay.
Like, I think it's like a big UK thing. Like the garage stuff is like much faster paced and like, you know, you're switching through songs very quickly. So I feel like when it's like a really high energy like set, like that stuff tends to happen a lot.
Oh, okay.
Whereas like with like house, like normal house stuff, I feel like, you know, you're kind of trying to like build an entire vibe through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So like wheeling would kind of like take you out of it and you'd have to build that whole, you know, energy up again.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's very prominent in bass music. Like even drum and bass, it's big in drum and bass, I believe. The rhythm, whatever, it's super apparent there. I don't ever see it too well. And I say the backspin as like the backspin, and then like there's no more music after. Because I know like a lot of house DJs will backspin for transitions and stuff for like the build and whatnot, and that's totally fine. It sounds dope as fuck. It's just stopping the music to me. There's something about it. You better have a good reason for stopping the music right now. That's it.
No, I
think
totally
that's
agree.
it.
I totally agree.
Like Homegirl was just backing it up. I was about to snare at that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? God damn. Like, you just stopped the music.
I know.
Bro.
You just killed everybody's situation
Yeah,
on the
bro.
dance floor.
Like I was like I was finally making my move with homegirl.
Yeah.
We were feeling the energy, and then you just stopped it, and she looked back and walked away.
And bro, and now she's going to the other stage.
going
She
to get
wasn't
it.
about to look back until another 2 minutes, and in that time we would have already been dancing. You know.
Now
like,
she's telling you she wants another drink. You're like, I gotta spend some fucking money now.
I only have $10 in my bank account. This is the last drink I'm gonna buy. Yeah, nah. See that stuff is just DJs don't think about, bro.
Yeah.
It's not about the crowd right now. It's about me and my music, okay?
It's about me and my situation shit right now. Hemi.
Yeah, nah, I feel it. What's it called? Going back to earlier, you kind of touched on it about people recording with their phones and like being on their phones. How would you feel about events that lock up your phone, like put it in a phone cubby? How would you feel about that?
I don't see myself feeding for my phone if I don't have it for like 4 or 5 hours.
Mm.
Like if I know where my phone's gonna be at, like I'm cool. Like I'm cool to sacrifice that time to be like restricted from my phone. Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I've been at events where my phone's been dead. That's essentially like not having my
Same
phone.
thing, yeah.
So yeah.
I agree. I mean, I'm not usually like pulling my phone out too much unless it's like, you know, a song that like I came specifically just to see that set and I want to capture that. Most of the time I'm pretty like locked into what's going on, but I mean, I've heard about events like that going down and I'd be definitely down to pull up and just experience that in general.
Yeah, because I know a lot of it's prominent in like comedy events, and even like some bigger acts will do that. Like I wouldn't say necessarily EDM acts, but like I know Beyonce sometimes when she does like her intimate shows, she'll put like their phones in phone cubbies. So basically like you get like a little sleeve for your phone, but it has a lock on it and you can't open that sleeve until you exit the area. So like I'm thinking I would want to see EDM events like that, especially like club events, because like I feel like the phones will really take people out of the experience. So if we got more events like that, I feel like it would just be more like interactive and everybody would be more in the moment rather than worrying about whatever the fuck is going on, you know?
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to see more of that. Like, would you Would you ever see Lowen doing something like that? Could you see Lowen doing something like that?
Sure. Yeah. And and you really just want people to experience what's happening in the now. But I'm totally fine with people wanting to record like certain moments when they're at an event. Like that's totally fine. I just think that like for me, it's not worth it to be waiting in a line for an hour and a half just so I could post on my Instagram that I posted a picture that I was in front of the Beyond sign. Like I'm not gonna like there's just certain things I'm not willing to do that connected to like phone activity. I'll give you an example like that I see all the times at festivals. Like many people wait in lines to like let's say take a picture in front of an art decor that's like unique to that event. And like that's fine. Like you could use your time spent like for that day. But that's like to me that's not like I'm not so invested into my phone or like at least social media like that to where I need to like stay in line. Like I don't like to me that's not really like why I'm there at a festival. Like for some people it's different, and I can see some people not being in favor of that. Like they just need to have that like communication with somebody at all times, and I respect that. Like someone needing to have that like communication with somebody 24/7, whether it's for safety issues. If an event's doing the no phone thing and like you're not comfortable with that, like you don't show up. Like simple as that. If you fuck with that, then like just restrict yourself for the showtime. I think that was a great idea of like putting your phones into some bins with your name or whatever.
I could even see that happening at festivals, but like how each stage is like its own section and whatnot. I think, say we're at a festival, right? You could have your phone out anywhere in the festival grounds. But once you enter in that area where the stage is, I think they should give people those phone like cases. So, because honestly, like, I don't understand why people record like that 1 minute long clip when they're in the crowd. That shit doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. I'm not gonna watch it on your Instagram story. I'm not gonna watch it on your Instagram post. I don't even know if I'm gonna like it. If I'm gonna be honest with you, like, there's just no like what is that for? And you're kind of also ruining the experience for people there that are in front of you and just looking at your phone and shit. Like, I understand, like, let's take pictures of you next to all the decor and stuff. I totally understand that. At the stage, in the area we're supposed to be vibing, I don't know.
Some people don't know how to properly present a brand. Like, or like, they're not intentionally doing it. Like, we know that. They're not intentionally doing it, but that's what's happening. Like, people are seeing it through your stories, and like maybe the angle they have it, it's like, oh, maybe it doesn't look as convincing for me to go. But I mean, like, I'm not personally like not hating on anyone that does it. Like, you can spend your time however you like at an event that you paid for. Like, that was your privilege. I don't mind going to the stage and they're like, okay, give me your phone, and then like you'll get it back once you leave the stage or whatever. Like, I'm totally fine. I'm there for the music. Most importantly, I'm down to sacrifice my technology that's on me.
Totally. I mean, I think it's subjective too, because like, I mean, if you're DJing that event, like, I know personally, like, I would want people to like film it and tag me in it so that like, what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like free promo right there.
Well, that's why many event companies and artists don't want to do it, because it limits their ability to share their product, which is a tour, their show, their name. That's why it's very hard to like justify that to a promoter that's trying to like build a brand, or an artist is trying to like create a bunch of tour stops. It's just like, like the phones are very important for marketing purposes.
Oh yeah,
like it is helpful as much as that we maybe don't stick around for those Instagram story uploads, and people are tagging like that they're there, and it makes us acknowledge that okay, people are there. I'm not gonna fully like invest all these seconds into this story, but okay, this person went to this event, and like I acknowledge that. And if people acknowledge that a lot of people are going to your show, like that's like a good marketing tactic.
Totally.
So many event promoters are not really in favor of that, just because of that simple fact that it limits having their brand being marketed by consumers and shit.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. It's just like you said, it's subjective, whether you're worried about your brand or the event, how the event's going. So I guess it's like whatever one you choose to focus on, right?
Totally. I mean, I would arguably say like being a DJ or an artist, like your entire like business is pretty much like based off of social media and like Instagram stuff. I mean, it's a lot your music, but a lot of like the getting shows and getting people to come to your shows is entirely like a social media thing to a degree.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, and I definitely see that more for DJs and event companies that are still trying to get their exposure and all of
Mhm.
that for sure. Like I could see maybe like an insomniac doing shows where you don't need their phones, like like
Oh,
people that
yeah.
are already established
Mm.
wouldn't need that type of stuff.
Well, I mean, the only one I've seen is I mean, I know Skrillex played a show in LA here where it was like a no phones and no thing,
And
no.
yeah,
I mean, he can do that because he's got so many eyeballs on him already. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just his name promos himself like just up.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. I kind of see the two folds of it. Like I could see why. I understand the aspect of I want people to see that people came out to see me and whatnot. But then I look at it like, again, I'm going back to like stand-up comedians. Their shows are mostly no phones. Any club that they go to is no phones. Even if you're like still like an open mic, it's a no phones venue, and they're still able to market themselves. Like, but I think it's because they're focused on like getting their clips, like their professionally recorded clips uploaded, and then that's how they get their views and stuff. Whereas for DJs, do our clips like of us just DJing do the same thing that we post?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know. I'll say like the last show I played, which was arguably the biggest show I've ever played. I mean, if we're gonna talk about like social media stuff, like I posted some clips of me just like spinning new tunes and I mean, I was lucky enough to have like a really great crowd and be playing in like a really top notch venue.
Can you say where you played?
Oh yeah, I played at Nova 2 weeks ago. I opened for Deorro.
Oh,
Nova.
dude, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Tonic, bro. You open up for Tonic. Do you remember Tonic?
Tonic used to be what Deorro used to go by.
Oh no, I didn't know. That's sick though.
That's
He's
crazy.
been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, since 09, 08.
Yeah, no, it was interesting how I got that show. I submitted to the Discovery Project like a couple months ago. He was the guest judge for I think it was Beyond Wonderland. And I didn't end up winning that, but he like his management like hit me up like 3 months later and was like, "Yo, do you want to come open for his stop in San Diego?"
That's dope.
And I had no idea how I got the gig. Or I was like, "Oh, what?" I saw he had listened to the tracks I sent. And then I tweeted out, before the show, I was like, "Oh, I'm so stoked for this opportunity." You know what I mean? Like I was really like really stoked to play that event. And he tweeted back at me and was like, "Oh, like I handpicked you for this shit." Like,
that's dope.
Yeah,
That's
it was really dope,
fun.
bro. It was surreal.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Would you say that's like one of your biggest shows that you've ever
Oh,
done?
the biggest by far.
Oh, biggest.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, that was like a whole new. I haven't really like played to an audience that big before, or on like a rig that loud.
What about being a support artist for artists of that caliber?
No, that was my first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
oh, I mean, before that, I haven't really ever played like any support. I mostly just like play stuff through like people I know in the community, or I do like bar gigs, every now and then just to make a little cash here and there.
I feel you. That's our bread and butter right there.
Yeah,
as a DJ for sure.
So the whole experience was new to me, just in general.
How many people was there roughly?
I mean, when I played from 9:30 to 11, and it was like a good like 300-400 people, I would say.
Fuck. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Was that your first time doing an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally I don't play that long.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
How did you feel after doing your first? How did you feel before and after doing your first hour and a half?
I mean, I was initially like pretty like, I was like, I don't know. Normally I only play hour sets normally, and I know like in house music it's pretty standard. Not standard, but like
Typically
that's like the ideal.
sets, yeah,
It's
like
90 minutes.
like an hour, yeah, 90 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So for you, like when you got the hour and a half, would you prefer that moving forward, or do you now prefer like an hour? Or
no, I would definitely prefer an hour and a half. I mean, the thing is, like, I really had to like, I was playing the opening set, so I kind of like had to structure it differently. I'm like, I know I'm going to be playing the first 45 minutes, like where people are coming in, they're not drunk. You know what I mean? Or they're not like people.
I like how you take that into account.
Yeah, totally. I mean, whenever I play shows, I like the set time I'm given is definitely like, something I take into consideration. Mostly because I've been in nightclubs and been around the block and this shit for a minute. So I know like at the beginning of the night, like people are kind of like warming up and are a lot more judgmental about what's going on because, they haven't been properly, lit yet. Whereas like, I feel like when you're playing later towards the end of the night, you can really like do whatever you want to a degree because people are properly like into the experience already.
That's cool. Was DJing one of your first hobbies, or did you have any other hobbies before DJing?
Yeah, I was a DJ before a producer. I used
okay.
Yeah. So like, I started DJing in high school. I would like, I would play like parties at people's houses, and when I was in high school, like electronic music wasn't as like popping as it is now. So like, I would play at parties, and people would tell me like, like people would get into it when they were drunk, but it was a lot of like asking for hip hop stuff like that, which I love that shit too. But it definitely wasn't like it was harder to get people into house or electronic more than it is now, I would say.
For sure. That's kind of like how we started too, DJing a lot of house parties. And I feel like for us, because I mean, we've been into EDM for a long time. And at that point, it was more, all right, we're going to play some hip hop, but I'm going to try to sneak in some cool EDM slappers for sure. Like
totally.
And that's as much as we could do it when we were in high school, I think.
But I was like, I think like I played, when I was playing those shows, I learned the most about like DJing and playing shows than I do now, which was more like, because it was much harder to win people over what you were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I played a prom, like one of the first few times I DJ'd, I played a prom after party. I got kicked off the decks.
Yeah. Damn, bro. I'm trying to figure out if I ever got kicked off some decks, bro. Damn. Bro. Like, who kicked you off the decks? Was it another DJ?
It was the chick whose party it was.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what happened? It was a prom. It was after the prom, and like, everybody was lit, and I was spinning house music and like all kinds of shit. And it was actually like the same weekend that Lil Uzi Vert had dropped like his that I don't remember what mixtape it was. It was the one that was like really big.
Myron or Eternal Take.
I got.
Oh no, it was before that. It was I can't remember, but I remember like she came up to me, and I mean she was lit, and it was her party, so I'm not gonna like make a big deal. But I was DJing, and it was like she was like, "You don't have this shit," like, all right, and they unplugged my shit and put the iPhone in, bro. So I've been around the block.
You don't got Uzi Vert.
Shit.
That's like my experience of like, all right, anything I like tank after this, as long as it ain't like plug the iPhone in, like we're good,
I feel you.
Those moments as a DJ, I feel like that's like a very big learning experience.
Oh, totally.
Like, don't trip. I have had that experience as well. I had the aunt take over the aux, bro. I was DJing, and she was like, it was like a Hispanic party and whatnot, and she came up to me and she showed me her phone. She's like, "Do you have this?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Do you have an aux cord?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Just give me the aux cord then." And then she just played off her phone the rest of the night, and I was like,
totally, man. Okay. That stuff is like, like it's really embarrassing in the moment, but it's also like as you said, it's super humbling because, like, I don't know. I feel like you learn a lot from just like learning how to like fuck up like that and like take it to the chin, and keep going after that.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely builds strong skin, and then it's like a learning experience too. I'm pretty sure after that you had Little Uzi Vert on your fucking.
Oh yeah, it did, bro. I mean, I've like, I mean, even to this day now, I still like, I do bar gigs here and there. Just I'm mostly spinning my own stuff in house music, but like, I just like think it's important to like play as many shows as possible and like just get better as a performer. So like, I have no issue like playing beach stuff or playing at Sharky's or like playing even like it's all like in the same realm, and there's something to take away every time.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this: when it comes to you starting producing, how long into your DJ career did that happen?
I started producing so I was DJing for like 3 or 4 years, and then when I was in college, I started producing mainly because I actually came from filmmaking before making music.
Oh, really?
So I would do like I I would make like short films and like surf videos. I was really into surfing. And
like were you actually doing surfing? Like
yeah.
Shit,
yeah,
dude.
my high school had like a surf team, and I was the captain of it.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
So Jonah Hill wouldn't like you pretty much, is what you're saying.
You're not qualified to be like in a relationship boundaries with that fool.
Yeah.
Just don't post yourself in a bikini.
Stay away
There
from
you
his
go.
girl, bro.
Oh no, believe me, I saw that shit. I was like, damn, he's hurt right now.
I know. I seen that shit. And I was like, damn, bro, it's okay. Like,
Nah, bro. How many times would you say you've surfed, bro? Like on the beach, like more than 100 times? Would you say?
Oh yeah, dude. I went to college in Hawaii. Just
oh,
to surf.
swear.
Yeah.
What? I remember that.
I was on Oahu. I went to University of Hawaii.
That's
That's
lit.
where I started making music.
That's dope as fuck. You
Yeah.
know who Hanu is?
Who?
Hanu?
No.
You should look. He makes house music.
Oh, Honu.
Honu.
I know
yeah,
Honu. Yeah.
Banger. That's
No,
what I think of now.
yeah,
I think of
no.
Hawaii. I don't
Yeah,
know.
me and Honu have one together too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Damn, were you doing this like surfing thing? Like you're a captain, bro. Like, were you competitive
Yeah,
too? Oh
yeah.
yeah, because I only think captains like they're competing and like you were that motherfucker. Bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
God damn. Bro.
So I come from like a beach town. I come from Manhattan Beach. I don't know if you guys know where that is. It's like right on the beach, kind of like a couple miles away from Venice and Santa Monica. And like, so all the high schools in that area, like surfing is like a competitive sport.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
And is that like it's crazy. I don't know. We're not gonna get into this too quick, but
No.
is that like a market, bro? Like surfing, like how?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. There's like tours,
yes.
world tours.
Like how does that prize? Like is it prize money? Like and all that
Oh,
shit?
yeah.
Like
It's tournaments
big money,
and stuff, yeah.
big money. And
Yeah.
people win millions.
have you win like a good amount of like?
Oh
I
no,
don't know how you did it in competition.
I was just
but-
doing it in like a smaller school realm, but you know, I mean, like people go professional with that stuff.
Damn.
There's like a world surfing league. It's like basketball, like all kinds of like it's similar to other sports. Like there's a whole industry for it.
Nah, bro. Honestly, I gotta give props to you, bro. I cannot see myself ever doing surfing, bro. Like, you mean to tell me there's a shark somewhere around here? No, I'm
Oh,
good,
yeah,
bro.
dude.
Like, you ever had an encounter with a shark?
Yep, I have.
Damn, dude.
I'm all fucked up from this shit too. Middle fingers all bent.
Oh fuck.
You see that?
I see it.
You got the,
Oh,
the
fuck.
ET finger going on.
Is that from just like eating shit so many
Yeah,
times?
when I was in Hawaii,
Oh, you hit a reef
I
or
fell
something?
on and I hit the reef and knuckle exploded. And
That's crazy. So how long were you in Hawaii for?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I
got
was on
squad in the
that-
building. We got fucking
True.
mad squad.
I used to live out there for 3 or 4 years. I was in the same island. I was in
Oh,
Oahu.
nice. Where'd you live at?
I lived on base because my dad was in the military.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Hell
I went to elementary school out there, and bro, I learned how to surf. I'm not a good surfer. Can I do it today? I don't know. I have no idea. It's been a while, but I just know those waves out there are fucking gnarly,
world
dog.
class,
And just
dude.
trying to, I can't just bailing on one of those, bro. It seems like one of the most scariest shits to me, like ever. Like I've seen some shit, but that's different. That's like just free falling into like,
Into rock, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. To me, like, that's part of the experience. I would say, like, skateboarding is gnarlier to me than that. though.
Really?
For reals?
Yeah, because
There's no sharks in the fucking.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
No,
like the
but-
concrete's like a foot, a couple inches from your feet. You feel me?
that's true. But, like, you're falling in water to a degree. And when you really learn how to fall, you know, like, what you're doing in a sense where you're, like, you can kind of avoid hitting the bottom under certain
Has
circumstances.
to do with the current too, right?
Yeah. Whereas like when you're skateboarding, you're like flinging yourself into concrete. Like you're just hoping like, okay, hopefully I don't fucking break my leg today. I have to sit in my room for like 2 months, you know?
Oh,
That's
bro.
true. I guess you got a point there.
But I mean, I love skating too. I've retired that after too many fuck ups, but
Yeah. After high school is when pretty much everything stopped for me, like
yeah.
athletic wise, other than maybe.
Bro, catch Spacewalk headlining at a fucking surf festival, dog.
Dude, that's on the bucket list. That would be pretty dope.
Well, see, you DJing at the beach isn't too far off brand
No,
for you
yeah,
then
totally.
whatsoever, right? Probably
Totally.
makes you feel at home.
And I was I was DJing at a volleyball tournament the
Oh,
other day,
swear.
so it was
Okay.
just, but that was just like, you know, small gigs, but even that, you know, it's a whole experience just to play outside and on the beach, you know.
Uh-huh.
You know, now that we've expressed that we've done gigs for a while, especially like parties with like friends, birthday parties. You know, I never realized throughout so many years of DJing at places, I never thought you could DJ at a certain setting. Like, I'll give you an explanation. Like, okay, I didn't realize that I could DJ at a basketball game. Like, I thought it was just like limited to just like at a party. But no, like, okay, I could DJ at a fucking okay. Oh, I got a fundraiser. Okay, I didn't know I could DJ at a bingo event. Like,
Totally.
there's so many things that people like. You kind of come to think of like, wow, like this person like thought of having a DJ for this event. Like, okay, like, sure, all right, like. I don't know. It's just weird. Sometimes, like, I just never thought sometimes, like, certain events would need a DJ. I'm just like, okay, like, you're right. Like, fuck it. This open house aquarium needs a DJ for sure. Like,
it's because the DJ comes with an ambiance, right? Like, comes like a different vibe. Like, you got lights and stuff, you know? You have a big sound system that they probably wouldn't have had if they didn't get a DJ, you know?
Totally. I also think, like, as a DJ, you have to kind of, like, think about what you're playing at, too, in terms of, like, how you're gonna set up like your set in general, just even like just knowing where you're gonna play at and what kind of environment it's gonna be in general. You know what I mean?
That's the hardest part, and that's the most like nerve-wracking part about it. Sometimes is that you only like talk to these people over phone, and they've only gave you vague details about like what's gonna be going on. So now you're just like, fuck, what do I prepare for? What do I make sure I download? What's the crowd going to be like? Are there going to be older people, younger people? Are there going to be kids there? Does this have to be cleaner? Like, it's a bunch of shit like that even before those gigs, I get like
even like the gigs where you know that you're being brought in as an artist. Like, I mean, like I'll give you an example. When I knew like, okay, I'm opening for Deorro. I'm like, what kind of like, what's the audience? What's the Deorro audience, and how can I curate what I'm bringing to this shit? Like. And get them to be into it, you know what I mean?
Well, speaking on that event, did you feel that curation-wise, were you satisfied with the curation of that?
Yeah. I mean, like I knew. Well, I mean, I'll say this: I knew that club was going to be crazy, and that I was going to be like really hooked up with the lights and the rig. So I just, for me, a lot of it was like, what kind of crowd am I playing for? Like, and how can I keep them engaged for 90 minutes? You know what I mean? Like I know that Deorro like leans heavily into like a Latin influence, especially like with his visuals and his music. Sure. So I was like, I know that like his fan base would be more like that. So how can I like kind of like ease them into like what I'm doing, but still give them a little bit of like what
like still being on brand too.
Yeah, totally.
Can I ask you a question? Just because I'm just thinking about it right now, and I can't per se quantify it. What genre is Deorro as an artist?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was listening to a lot of his newer stuff, and I would say he's definitely like leaning a lot more into like house stuff. But I know like a lot of the stuff that he really blew up on was like, you know, the stuff that really like gave him his claim to fame was definitely like, you know, 5 or 6 years ago when the scene was like much different. I wouldn't say like big room, but like more like Martin Garrixy a little bit.
Well, I think for a while he was a Melbourne bounce artist.
Oh, really?
There you go, Melbourne.
Yeah, but like that's not the term that's being thrown out right now.
I don't think that's the thing. Like, I know the music he makes. I know the style of sets his sets that he drops are not per se house, but they'll sit in like the house
that tempo
BPM.
range.
You know, like from I would say like his BPMs go like between 35 and 120.
Totally.
6, 5 maybe. I don't know if he's going that slow, but you know, in that range. But it's more like it's not a house.
Yeah, like TJR, Deorro,
Yeah.
like that, like
a Valentino.
that bounce.
Too,
it's just like that, just that bounce, that Melbourne bounce.
What is that? I want to know like exactly. Is that like party? Like
I just know with the Melbourne bounce, that's just like very automated. It's like
yeah, it's that reverse bass.
Yeah, it's like very reverse bass like ish
Yeah.
because that's what gives it that bounce. It's that automation of the bass and the synth. It's like because you see that when dubstep and house, but the side chaining is very quick. But in Melbourne bounce, especially like in big room, like that automation, that side chaining is very present. You could just tell. Especially if you're a producer, like that shit, you could just tell. Like the automation is just kind of
totally
dramatic, I think.
Well, I'll tell you from what I saw when I watched his set after I played. Like,
okay,
dude, that guy he has it like down with like the branding, the music, everything. Like I would say like something I was really impressed by watching him play, because uh I'm not very like well versed in that realm of like what he's doing in terms of dance music, but
Right.
like he was doing stuff where like he would have like these like he would come out with like these bouquet of like electronic roses. They were like light up roses, and he would like periodically just like throw them into the audience, and people were like totally into that shit. He was like giving them stuff to like take home. You know what I mean?
That's
Almost as
tight.
if like you'll remember that night your whole life because you got this little light up rose. And
From
like
Deorro.
and the visuals that he was doing, like everything was really like dialed in. You know what I mean? You could see how like the performance, the visuals, and like the stuff he was giving out really like sold this brand that he's pushing. And I hadn't seen anything like that before, and it gave me something to think about in terms of like what I'm trying to do with my music. You know, tie everything together.
Yeah, because I mean that's what a great artist does, right?
Totally.
Like, they sell you their experience, and
Mhm.
that's and it's also like kind of an authentic thing, especially with Deorro. Like you could tell it's all authentic, and I think like when you're able to encapsulate like your authentic self with your music, and then plus that you can just tell it's you, like it just makes people like believe in it a little more and be like, yeah, this is dope.
Like he's from the culture. Like he's not a culture vulture.
No.
You know, like he's not like another race pushing like how would I say this? Capitalizing off of another race. Like he's actually his race, like being authentic with who he is, and like he's
Totally.
tailoring to his ethnic audience. Yeah, he's,
Yeah,
he's
and
his
honestly,
ethnic audience.
like I would say that audience like really fucking rides hard for him too. Like they're really supportive, and he also like, I mean, even the way that I got this gig where he was like, you know, I submitted music, I didn't win the project, but he still like was like, I want to help this kid, like put him on. You know what I mean? He gives back to the community in the sense of like how many other like big artists do we see like really like pick people out and like put them on? I mean, it happens, but like
No,
I don't know.
Deorro does that.
Yeah.
he's done
He's
that.
about the culture and like pushing it forward. You know, I wouldn't say like my music is definitely is like in the realm, you know, in the same space, but the fact that like he heard it, liked it, and like gave me an opportunity, it was like, you know, like something that is like commendable, and I think a lot of people should do shit like that. You know,
For sure, for sure. He did that for another guest we had on here, Ray Burger. I don't know.
Oh no way! Yeah, no, I know who he
Yeah,
is.
he took Ray Burger for one of his shows as well, and yeah, and it's like I think that's dope. Like you said, I think a lot more artists should do that, and I think that's like how you keep because when you think about EDM and you want to get into the EDM scene, you get people talking about like gatekeepers and stuff like that, or like the music industry. You have to be on this label, do this type of stuff, right? But I think like what's really cool about EDM specifically, I think it's really artist driven. Like when you think about it, like when artists go on tours, they're picking the people that they want to be on tour with them, or they're picking like who they want to represent with them. And you see this with a lot of the like big name DJs, and I think it's you see that on purpose. Like who else could I say does this? I would say like uh maybe an artist like OK. He would even be doing like he sets up his lineups how he wants. Like when he does live performances or when he's touring, he'll have acts on his tour that make sense to the music he's playing, and like he'll curate that himself. Or like a Borgor does the same thing with dubstep. When he's touring, he's picking those guys like that he thinks are dope as fuck and whatnot. And I think that's just how you keep like
Totally.
the EDM scene more authentic, I think.
Yeah, and I think like it's important, like even if you like, you know, especially when you're in a position that like some of these DJs are, it's important to like pay the success forward. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you've managed to accomplish something, and it's like you also want to like give opportunities to others and push them forward too. You know, you never know where people are gonna go or where the music scene is gonna go, and I think a part of like getting somewhere in this shit is also like, you know, paying it forward to people.
For sure. Speaking about where the music scene is going, where do you like genre wise, sound wise, where do you think we're at right now in 2023? What's been dominant this year?
Okay. I would say definitely I think tech house is still really big. It's been big for a while. and I think dubstep is definitely like really peaking as well.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. I know that like, I mean, I was just at Coachella a couple months ago, and I was kind of getting tired of tech house. But then I saw a few acts that like blew me away. Where I was like, I mean, specifically, you guys heard of Mochak?
Oh,
Yeah. Mochak, Vintage Culture. Like there was a few guys that I saw there where like I pulled up to the set and did not know any of the music, and everything I was hearing was fire, and like the whole probably like some of the best shit I've seen in years. And like just when I thought I was getting sick of it, you know, I pulled up to some like that, and I don't know. I don't know where it's going, but
Yeah, I see it right now with tech house, techno, and then drum and bass has been kind of.
oh yeah, I've seen that coming up too. I'm actually stoked for that too. That I'm really hoping. Like I've seen that rise a lot here.
You think it's gonna catch?
Oh yeah,
In the UK right now, it's going up. I can tell you that for sure. I'm seeing nonstop clips of like these fucking DMB shows that go on in the UK, and they're insane. Like the way that people are going crazy for those like double drops like out here, that's how they're going for some certain like DMB tracks out there. And I'm just like, nah, that energy. I don't know when that energy is gonna like switch over here, but I kind of want it to, and I just don't know if it's going to. Like,
I mean, I've been seeing it quite a bit. I would say that new festival that's in Long Beach, it's like dubstep and drum and bass kind of. Have you heard
the zombie one? Yeah.
I would say like a good like 45-50% of that lineup is drum and bass. And I mean, just like I didn't see anything like that going on like a year or two ago.
Not at all. No, that's definitely new. That's like definitely something 2023 is. I guess we got to see how that goes down. And
totally, I'm stoked for it too. I love that shit. I think like Alex Perez, like all that, like people that have been doing this for a minute, like over in the UK, like that stuff needs its time to shine down here too.
Bro, for sure. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. What I wanted to do as well is like kind of because out there, their drum and bass is really incorporated with a lot of lyricism, like and vocalists and people who rap. You know, I want to see when it hits over here, like how that transitions.
Totally, I would arguably say that a lot of like the like craziest production wise is all like drum and bass stuff.
Right now, I think so. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, there's this dude. Have you guys heard of Halogenics?
Oh, bro, fire!
Insane. Like like
fire.
That's what I aspire to be as a producer. Is like everything that guy drops or puts out. Like it fucking blows me away. Just like, fire. And it hits like all the pillars of production. Like cleanest sound, like amazing melodies, like great ideas. It just like everything that he puts out. It's really fucking sick.
I feel like that's what we all strive for.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah. So, project-wise, what do you got coming up?
Well, I just released on Space Yacht last month. I was on their summer sampler, me and Phantom Freak, who you guys had on
Phantom Freak,
yeah. That's my big homie. I'm over there like every week working with him. He's a really great dude. Cool. Yeah, me and him are super tight. He's a really dope producer too. We had a bass house tune on there. I've got a couple collabs. I'm working on one with this producer named Arson.
I don't believe I recall that name.
Okay, he's like freeform bass producer.
Oh, word.
It's weird. A lot of my collabs have been with a lot of them are with like people in different genres, which I don't know if it's uniquely like my collab thing, but a lot of the stuff I have coming up is with people that don't make house music, and we've been getting really interesting results.
You don't know if it's intentional or not?
I mean, it is to a degree. A lot of the time when I work with people, like it's mostly like we kind of like have been like talking or exchanging on Instagram a lot. Like I'll fuck with their music and they'll fuck with mine, and it's weird because I would say like I'm a lot like in the house community and like supporting others, but I also like a lot of my inspiration comes from other genres too.
I think that's a cool way to keep house music fresh and different for sure.
Yeah, totally. And I think like, you know, it's more of a challenge for me to work with people that aren't making house music, because at the end result is always like something that is like really different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, original.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we all strive for.
Totally.
And
Totally.
That's dope. Do you have any, like, can you say any names that you're going to be collabing with? Or is that just like,
yeah, I'm working with Arson. I'm about to start something with Ali's son, who another our son, Ali's son. She's like a house producer. She's played a bunch of shows for Spacewalk. Her music's super dope. Who else? I'm working with this artist from South Africa named September Youngster. He's from like the beat scene community. His music's like very K-Tronada and we have an EP that we made together that's just like completely different than the stuff that I'm normally
It's like on
writing.
that Austin Mills.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. I mean, I like to just try to like diversify and like really push myself in a production sense to like work with people that can like bring different strengths, you know, that like maybe I don't really like focus on, you know.
So are you just gonna be releasing house music, or are you gonna?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I make all kinds of genres, but I'm mostly pushing the house. I mean, personally, I believe that my house music is like way better than the other genres that I, you know, mess around with from time to time. But I mean, I don't know. Who knows in the future?
Sure.
Now, we're talking about like having collabs with other people, right? We talked about this before recording. Like, how would you guys feel if you guys were collabing with somebody, and let's say the collab didn't really go anywhere creatively, and both parties called it like quits to just conclude the project, right? But let's say maybe down the line, the other party ends up using that project as their own, and it's like for whatever. Or, I mean, I guess I'm not sure if this matters, but like, or let's say maybe this does matter. Like, it's like a big successful like label release, or it's just like a successful like release, like that we're pressing this person, right? Like that's a press on, right? Like,
did they like completely use that same track?
Yeah, or maybe like I can even give you like maybe like an example. Let's say like it's like an original vocal. Like let's say Spacewalk had a collab with somebody,
okay,
and Spacewalk put vocals for that shit, his own vocals,
okay,
and then that person's like, all right, nah, this collab is not going anywhere. And then like the vocals, which is like essentially like a main factor of the track, like this person uses Spacewalk's vocals for their track, and then it's like a release.
And they didn't consult you about it?
And they didn't consult you about it or credit you. Type
yeah,
shit.
I mean, you
like
know,
we're pressing this person, right?
That's hurt. Yeah, that's definitely hurt.
Has that ever happened to you guys?
No. No.
Okay.
No, you go ahead.
So, I feel my vocals, and you didn't tell me, like, hello. But what about this, bro? What if it was a project, but it didn't go nowhere? But I like the snare. Like, you feel me? Or like how the snare came out. Can I use that in another project?
I mean, personally, I have no issue with that. I'm very like, I don't mind if people are like using specific sounds. If you're gonna like rip an entire riff or like the entire like soul of the track, like if we worked on something and like you were secretly like, damn, this is sick, like let me just cancel this collab.
Like it was a structure,
just like and then just like take the entire thing and like make it my own shit because I liked it but didn't tell you
without letting you know.
I didn't want to share it with you or something. Yeah, that's hurt. I would, but like, you know, where are you gonna go from there? I mean, you got like one or two options. You can either like call them out publicly,
which does happen, but realistically, what
you can call them out on threads or what?
Yeah. I mean, it depends how attached you were to the projects, you know.
But how does an artist protect themselves from like ideas like that? Because we don't really just hear this only in DJing, but I hear this a lot like in the fashion industry where a lot of fashion designers they see like these big brand corporations like producing certain products like very similar to these like underground new like indie fashion designer outfits. And it's like, what the hell? Like I see a lot of this happening in that space, particularly in fashion, where a designer who starts their own business puts up their own website on Square or Wix, or they do it themselves. They put their own like unique product and shit, And next thing you know, they see their very similar product on Fashion Nova or Sheen or like vice versa. And it's like how do creatives protect themselves and their ideas from other parties claiming and robbing that shit?
You get a good lawyer.
Yeah.
That's like how do you copyright ideas and shit? Like that.
I mean, you.
Like,
I don't know. I feel like you don't, in a sense, because like, I mean, personally, this is my philosophy. From what I've seen, I feel like
NDA, right? NDA collab.
Yes, yeah. NDA. I mean, it depends. Like if we're speaking in terms of vocals, I mean, that's those are bars that you wrote, and like you can really like if somebody's taking vocals, you can really like fight that.
They use your synth pattern, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
Like,
but you can't you can't copyright chord progressions. So like, you know what I mean?
Chord progression, like. Okay, like I'll let you slip away with chord progression because chord progression, like it's whatever.
Don't take my melody, bro. I wrote that.
Melodies, I think, are a little bit more, and this is just like us geeking out on some musician shit. Like melodies are very much more personal to me than chords.
It's like a melody is like, bro. It's like as if I played an instrument and now you didn't play that instrument, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like,
but I don't think you can actually like that's why like you'll see like remixes or like renditions of songs that like you can actually like put out. Like I'll give you an example. You guys know Disco Lines?
Yeah.
He just dropped a DMB flip of a Lady Gaga tune. But like it's it's I think it's Bad Romance, that song. You know that melody? It's like dun 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 dun. But he didn't put her vocal in it. It's just like it's like a DMB flip of that tune, and it's like he can like copyright that because you can't copyright melodies. Like it's technically not illegal to like do that. You know what I mean? I think that's from my understanding.
Is that why you see a lot of these like big time artists? They are like essentially released like the titles and everything. They release it like as a cover format.
Yeah.
You ever see that shit? Like it's like, wait, this is a remix, but they're like titling it like as a cover. Like I don't know.
Totally.
You see that all the time.
I mean, you can like do. It depends on how you're flipping it, but there's loopholes where you could like technically flip a song that's popular. You can use the melody because you can't copyright the melodies. You take the vocals out and you can like change the title of the song, and like it's still like you can monetize it. You know what I mean?
It's because like all the monetization, like all it's looking for is the actual either vocals or the actual instruments used in the track. And as long as it's not like the exact same as the original, you're fine.
No, totally.
Fine. You can even like down pitch vocals sometimes, and they'll let you upload it.
But I mean, like even legally, I don't think you're in trouble to a degree because like legally, you're not like doing anything wrong. And I don't have an issue with doing flips like that because personally, like if you're making an homage to a song and like that people really fuck with, like in a sense, it's flattering and also like promoting that song. Like I would want people, if I ever got big enough to do shit like that for my music, like I always encourage people to flip things or make remixes. That I feel like that's part of this culture in general, dance music culture.
For dance music, definitely. That's how a lot of people get like their big breaks. Like is
totally
doing bootleg. Like for a while, that's how you got attention on yourself as a dubstep artist, is by making bootlegs. Like that was the main reason you've seen a lot of these kids blow up. Like
I do it all the time, man. I for a while, like when I first started producing, I was like very purist, and I was like, I'm not gonna do remixes. I don't need to do that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
sounds about like me.
I'm totally like, I'm gonna like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play songs that people know. I'm like always trying to have these dubs, and like after a while, like a while of producing, like for me, it changed in the sense that like I started to be like, well, what can I do to like bring my sound to something that people know? And I've found that like the marriage between like things that people recognize and like and then your sound together can really like make something amazing. And and honestly, like I do these like I don't really call them remixes. I call them Spacewalk editions. Where I basically like I'll take a vocal, like I did one for Fake ID and I did one for a Martin Garrix track. I'll just take like the vocal and I'll build an entirely like I don't take any of the production, just the vocal, and I'll build an entire tune around that.